So having understood each and every component, you would have also understood how each and everything is interconnected. Now finally we come to something called OPEX, that is your recurring expenditures or operating expenditures. Let us understand what all you need to consider and which all sheets are you going to bring in summation in this recurring expenditure. The first component that you need to bring into is your recurring expenditures on your salaries. Then you have your recurring expenditure on your office, your staff and things like that. And then finally you come to the advertising and marketing budgets. That is also part of the recurring expenditures. Now recurring expenditures are basically those which keep on recurring. So in a layman term, that is how it is going to work in. So what happens here in recurring expenditure is you try to list down each and every expenditure month on month which is done in your salaries. It will be including your salary, your staff, how many number of people that you are going to hire in the first year, the second year, the third year. Remember, always advisable to write the salaries and all the details for 3 years and give an incremental of 10% from year on to year wise, because you will have to give them incentives. Now what happens in recurring expenditure is it's a summation of all the expenditures that are going to happen month on month. Whether you earn revenue or you don't earn revenue, these expenditures you have to take care. So you need to have spent more amount of time here to understand you have kept in each and every thought process. Let us see it in terms of recurring expenditure on salary. What happens here is you need to have a proper salary that is to be given based on your organization chart. Your HR is going to help you here in understanding what is the market price that is running for a good person, what is it for a mediocre, and what is it for a non-performer. So you can take an easy call saying that, okay, fine, we will budget it accordingly to have at least a good performer or a mediocre guy. Now this is again going to be a strategic call because it is going to have an effect and impact on your recurring expenditures. So keeping these things in mind is where you draw your salary sheets. Now always have it for 3 years and keep in the number of people that are going to come in. Yes, you can also do a lean management here, like having 2 sales guys and 2 marketing guys. One could be a digital marketing, other could be the other marketing guy. But ensure that you have given some basic minimum people into a proper structure. Do not try to cut down at saying why I need 2 people, let me have it 1 and see how he's going to perform, and then when the company grows I'll bring in 1 more person. These certain things is absolutely no, because this is going to impact on the fastness or the penetration that you're planning to reach out or the way you want to grow, which will automatically connect with your scalability. Now remember, what happens in recurring expenditure is this is the money that you need whether you earn or you don't earn. That is, you are allocating, yes, this is the money that I have to keep in mind or allocate it whether we earn revenue or not. Now the moment when you start calculating your salaries, please ensure that it is not more than a certain portion when comparing to your turnovers. And also this will also give you clarity in terms of how are you benchmarking your sales forecast, because your salaries and your sales forecast will be interlinked. If you have 50 people sales team, definitely you have the option of having a much bigger sales forecast to be put across, keeping in mind the number of people. For a startup, it may not be that kind of a luxurious, but at the same time you need to draw some line where you put across, okay, this is what I'm going to pay for, these are the number of people. The next component that comes is your recurring expenditure on your office. That includes your rent, light bill, water bill, your miscellaneous, your travel. It could be even the security guard's salary or a receptionist or an outsource that you're planning to do. All these things fall into it. Now what happens here is you need to accommodate, keeping in mind not a very big office, but at the same time not a too small office. Let us see how this is going to get interconnected with even your scalability. What happens when you are planning, like let me start with some 500 square feet. Remember, you cannot have 10 people sitting in 500 square feet. So this will automatically give a clarity that you will not be able to scale. But at the same time, you cannot afford to have a luxury of 5,000 square feet. So that is how you will be taking strategic calls at every given point of time when you are doing your decisions on your planning board. Remember, it is not just one topic. It is plethora of things that you come under the culmination called in as business plan. So in recurring expenditure, you also need to accommodate things that you are going to be spending in miscellaneous. Many of them do not think it has to be a bigger amount. Let's say you have 10 people in your office and 3 people have birthday in the same month. So you need to ensure that you buy 3 cakes. So you need to have some accommodation that goes in for your budget allocation, even in your month-on-month recurring expenditures in office, because you need to take care. If you are making them look like this is an organization where nothing is going to be entertained, automatically the negativity slowly starts coming in. You will see people leaving you out and going away, because remember, they all have come only for their salaries. They have not come for the dreams that you have thought. So in a recurring expenditure, next component that comes is your advertising and marketing budgets. So you will also have to keep the recurring expenditure, keeping your month on month that you are going to spend. So here you can have that flexibility that I may not spend all 12 months, I may spend on a seasonal, depending on the business you are in, the industry you are in, and the target segment that you are looking out. So that is how you will have to accommodate. Now the moment you have all these 3 written on month basis is where you arrive at recurring expenditure abstract. So that will give you year on year how much the growth has happened in terms of increase of your budgets. Remember, this is not going to get decreased, because every year on year it is going to be increasing. The good thing that it is going to show you is if you are increasing at this pace, your sales will also be increasing at the same pace. So you can derive a ratio between your cost that you are spending on your recurring expenditure to the cost that you are getting from sales. That will give you clarity how the productivity of each and every person is going to correlate and bring in the sales component. Let us say, for example, you have a cold calling team. If there are 5 people in cold calling team, and if they are able to generate good amount of leads for you which are getting converted, so if they take good amount of time in getting you real good leads which get closed at a very faster pace, that will automatically add for the revenues to come in, because it is again the time and the money spent. So what happens here is your sales team should always be prepped up, and they should be in a position where they just go in, attack and bring in things. So the remaining team should take care of things. Like for example, in a cold calling aspect, it will act in like an artillery which would have fired a lot of guns before and neutralize the enemy, so that the sales team or the soldiers can attack and capture it. So what happens here is they are reducing the effort and time spent of the sales team in converting one customer, because usually there is a thumb rule which says you need at least to have 4 meetings with a client before he gets converted. Fine, it may not be same with each and every industry and same business, but advisable would be this. So what happens here is the more you have in terms of your recurring expenditures, that will give you clarity that this kind of an expenditure is what I need to meet. For example, let's say if your recurring expenditure for first year is like around £100,000. So to ensure that you pay £100,000, you may not pay immediately with the revenues that are getting generated. So you would have kept in some allocations, but for certain period of time, that is once the honeymoon period for a sales team gets over, it's barely 3 months. So the second quarter will slowly show that your revenues are slowly mopping up and your expenditures are being taken care. That is how you arrive at break-even points. That we'll be discussing at a later stage when we come to cash flow management. Hope you have got it clear. Thank you.